Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Miss Joanna Jason Ferrer, and we will be discussing communication in social media. Before we begin, let us have a little game. It's guessing the logo. I will be showing you the logo, and I'll be giving you a little time, and you have to guess the logo. So please try and keep track of your scores. Are you ready? Let's begin. Guess this logo. Are you done? This is Facebook. Next logo. This is YouTube. How about the next logo? This is WhatsApp. And the next one, this is Instagram. How about the next one? This is TikTok. Next. This is Snapchat. And the next one, this is Pinterest. How about this one? This is Reddit. How about this one? This is LinkedIn. And the last one, this is Twitter. Okay, so how much did you get? Please comment down below how many correct answers, how many correct guesses did you get? Okay, so if we notice, if you can see, we have the Facebook, YouTube, WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, Pinterest, Reddit, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If you notice, these are all social media platforms. So let us fold a finger. Let us have this activity. I hope you fold a finger with me. So raise your 10 fingers, open your 10 fingers, and fold a finger if you have this. If you have a social media account on this social media platform. So fold a finger if you have Facebook. Fold a finger if you have YouTube. Fold a finger if you have WhatsApp. Fold a finger if you have Instagram. Fold a finger if you have TikTok. Fold a finger if you have Snapchat. Fold a finger if you have Pinterest. Fold a finger if you have Reddit. Fold a finger if you have LinkedIn. And fold a finger if you have Twitter. So for me, I have 7 social media accounts among the list that we have here. How about you? How many social media accounts do you have? This will show how social we are. We are very social, especially when it comes to social media. We really want to be connected with everyone. We have Facebook accounts and Messenger accounts to keep connected with our loved ones. We have YouTube accounts to show videos of our daily lives. We have WhatsApp, another messaging platform. Instagram, where we show our photos of what has happened to us, relevant photos, relevant images. TikTok, a new platform where we can show short videos. And Snapchat too. Pinterest, Reddit, LinkedIn, Twitter, where we can express ourselves and stay connected with others. These are also social media accounts. But how really responsible are we when it comes to social media? Okay, so that's why our topic for today is social communication in social media. And the objective of our lesson is at the end of the lesson, you should be able to write a 100-word critical essay on the effects of social media on how people communicate. So, to start our
With
lesson,
social media
I
sites
want you
being
to
used by
watch this.
1/3 of the entire world, they've clearly had a major influence on society. But what about our bodies? Here are 5 crazy ways that social media and the internet are affecting your brain right now. Can't log off? Surprisingly, 5 to 10% of internet users are actually unable to control how much time they spend online. Though it's a psychological addiction as opposed to a substance addiction, brain scans of these people actually show a similar impairment of regions that those with drug dependence have. Specifically, there's a clear degradation of white matter in the regions that control emotional processing, attention, and decision making. Because social media provides immediate rewards with very little effort required, your brain begins to rewire itself, making you desire these stimulations, and you begin to crave more of this neurological excitement after each interaction. Sounds a little like a drug, right? We also see a shift when looking at multitasking. You might think that those who use social media or constantly switch between work and websites are better at multitasking, but studies have found that when comparing heavy media users to others, they perform much worse during task switching tests. Increased multitasking online reduces your brain's ability to filter out interferences and can even make it harder for your brain to commit information to memory. Like when your phone buzzes in the middle of productive work. Or wait, did it even buzz? Phantom vibration syndrome is a relatively new psychological phenomenon where you think you felt your phone go off, but it didn't. In one study, 89% of test subjects said they experienced this at least once every 2 weeks. It would seem that our brains now perceive an itch as an actual vibration from our phone. As crazy as it seems, technology has begun to rewire our nervous system, and our brains are being triggered in a way they never have before in history. Social media also triggers a release of dopamine, the feel-good chemical. Using MRI scans, scientists found that the reward centers in people's brains are much more active when they're talking about their own views as opposed to listening to others. Not so surprising, we all love talking about ourselves, right? But it turns out that while 30 to 40% of face-to-face conversations involve communicating our own experiences, around 80% of social media communication is self-involved. The same part of your brain related to orgasms, motivation, and love are stimulated by your social media use, and even more so when you know you have an audience. Our body is physiologically rewarding us for talking about ourselves online. But it's not all so self-involved. In fact, studies on relationships have found that partners tend to like each other more if they meet for the first time online rather than with a face-to-face interaction. Whether it's because people are more anonymous or perhaps more clear about their future goals, there's a statistical increase in successful partnerships that started online. So while the internet has changed our verbal communication with increased physical separation, perhaps the ones that matter the most end up even closer. Speaking of social media, we had you ask us questions on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Tumblr, Google+, and every other social platform we could find, and did a Q&A video over on ASAP Thought. So if you feel like getting some insider info on ASAP Science and behind the scenes, check it out with the link in the description. Got a burning question you want answered? Ask it in the comments or on Facebook and Twitter. We also finally got a P.O. box for all of you amazing science lovers who have requested to send us mail or other stuff over the years. And we'd love to hear from all of you, so feel free to use the address on the screen or in the description box. And subscribe for more weekly science videos.
Yeah, this video that we just have watched is from ASAP Science, and I will be also including their link down below, so if you would like, subscribe to their channel. Okay, let's go to the next question. So what are your thoughts about the video you just watched? So if you have something to you would like to share, just comment down below. What are your thoughts about the video that you just have watched? Imagine how social media has turned our lives upside down. Social media has become, well, an addiction to some. So we have to be careful how we use our communication in social media. Let us always remember that we have to become responsible social media users. we always have to think what we click, what we share, and what we react to in social media. Because in the end, whatever we post there comes back to us. So we have to be careful. So, well, there is an impact, or there are impacts of social media in communication. If we can just meet face to face, I would have asked you the positive and the negative impacts of social media. But since this is a video presentation, now there is an article that talks about how has social media affected communication, and these are facts that surprise. So these are the impacts of social media to communication. The first one is, and by the way, this is from the University of the People. I will also be including the link of their article in the description box. Okay, so the first one is exposure to messaging. And how are we exposed to messaging because of social media? Well, there is information overload. Many people tend to binge on social media, spending hours and hours scrolling through sites. Ultimately, this may lead to a constant craving of more internet and more social media consumption. The more people get, the more they want, and it's hard to stop the cycle. That's why, according to the video, it can be like an itch. It is addictive, and that's one of the impacts of social media. Second is for exposure to messaging. Young people read news. I remember back when I was young, I really do not like reading news. I don't want to buy newspapers just to read news. However, because of social media, reading news has been made cool. Social media has made reading the news cool again. According to Webits, 23% of young users get news from social media, and a whopping 61% get political news from Facebook. On social media, people share interesting news they read, and they can follow various news sources pages. Number 3 is getting the full picture. So stories, a part of Instagram, Snapchat, and Facebook, mean that people get the full picture of an event, activity, or occurrence in someone's life. Well, we no longer just get a snapshot of a home-cooked meal. We might get to see the entire process from the start to finish. This has changed the way people think about what to post. There is much less thought put into a post when it is a story that will be erased after 24 hours. Next is number 4, boredom in conversation. Here's a sad social media effect on communication. We are becoming bored when we have real in-person conversations. People have such a need for social media consumption, and that instant, colorful feedback only social media can give. They will often become bored during real conversations, resorting to their phones. These can lead to a decrease in the quality and number of meaningful conversations. If you noticed, when you go home and you're together and most of you are facing your phones, that you forget to get real conversations with the real people around you. So I hope this sad reality we can take action into this sad reality, that we have to create real relationships with real people around us. Okay, and the last one is reactions to nonverbal, emotional, and social cues. In-person reactions to nonverbal, emotional, or social cues are changing in that people don't need to respond to these types of communication when they are online. This leads to less experience and awareness of others' needs based on these types of cues that can only be received from in-person communication. So these are the effects and the impacts of social media when it comes to our exposure to messaging. So I hope we become very responsible social media users and use messaging to our advantage in creating real relationships with real people and really using social media to communicate to someone, especially those not with us, those abroad, not with us physically, those abroad, and gain a genuine relationship with them using social media. So there might be negative impacts, but I hope we can turn this into positive effects. Next effect is the self-expression. Okay, so the first one is sense of urgency. No one has to wait for longer than a few hours for a response, and people have come to expect that timeline for conversations. There is so much of a sense of urgency that people are often anxious if they haven't heard back from a family member, a friend, or partner in a number of hours. So the moment we send text message, there is a sense of, or a chat, there is a sense of urgency that we want the person that we sent the message to reply immediately to our message. There is also a sense of urgency that we share how we feel at that very moment. So I think with regards to the negative impact is that we have always to consider that the person that we are messaging might also be prioritizing some other things. So for us to preserve our relationship, I think we have to consider the person on the other end. So this sense of urgency, we have to take that into account because this is the reality in social media. We always want everything to be urgent. I want everything to be done immediately. So if I send you a message, I'm expecting a message back. Well, life does not happen that way. It always. And we always have to consider the people, the person on the other end. Next is the need to share. So social media has created a feeling among users that they must share whatever they are doing, from restaurant orders to concerts to the books that they are reading. This can be a social media positive effect because people are getting more exposure to things they might not otherwise, such as new reads. But it can also be a negative effect as it can urge people to become dependent on posting anything occurring in their own lives and painting those occurrences as rosier than they truly are. So, well, our sense of truth will be a test here because we want to show others what is happening in our lives. Well, I'm not saying that's bad. That may be good because it's good to share, especially the good news. That may inspire. But I hope we become responsible that not everything that happens in our lives are to be shared with everyone. There are times that these events are meant to be celebrated privately. Because not everything in the internet, not everyone in the internet can tell us positive things. Well, people always have something to say, and most of what they want to say are not good things. And another would be, it is also important to keep our lives private at times especially when it comes to our location, because that will also create that will also give information when you are not around your house, and that makes your house, your shelter, vulnerable to those who are, well, planning to do something bad. Okay, next is how we value ourselves. When people see others having a wonderful life, as represented on social media, they tend to have a negative self image and start to devalue their own ways of life. In addition, there is a feeling of needing to paint an inaccurately positive and fun version of one's own life, which leads to feelings of negativity about one's real life. So, this is a tendency that we can find in social media. Sometimes we look and compare ourselves with others. We compare ourselves with our classmates, and we look at where are they in their lives right now? Why am I only here? And why is it that I can see in social media that they're already this and they're already that? And that would affect how we see ourselves. So stop comparing yourselves, because, well, not everything that they post is true. Not everything. Because some would, for the likes and the reacts, some would go beyond that. That's why if you have a chance of watching a short film in YouTube entitled A Social Life, go ahead and watch it. Okay, next is inside perspective of afar. So one of the positive effects of social media is the ability to get an intimate view of other cultures and places. With social media, especially on Instagram, users are able to see what others are doing around the world. People are exposed to travel ideas, new cultures, and ways of life unlike before. That's why the Korean culture has penetrated the Filipino culture, because of social media, because K-drama and K-pop are accessible using social media. So that's I think a positive effect also. Next is broadcasting live. Broadcasting live started as a fun, innocent idea to share life's moment, but it's transformed to become a large part of political movements, such sharing some dark aspects of today's society. The option to post live videos has created an important platform for serious issues that need to be spoken about. I think for broadcasting live, this has been used for political reasons. But for today's generation, especially after the pandemic, it is also used for religious reasons. That platform is being used by churches to broadcast their service, the mass. Another for sellers to gain. That's why later we have on the business part. And next is the personalized digital messages. So both Instagram and Snapchat have popularized the highly personalized message. People can now completely change their own faces with selfie filters or draw pictures to send to friends and more. Creativity soars, which is a great thing, but people can start to spend too much time personalizing picture messages. And sometimes it's no longer real. They don't look like what they are in their photos and the one that you see personally. So, well, we have to be careful about using with our use of the custom personalizing pictures. Okay. Another is the communication style. Well, another impact is the summarized writing, the abbreviations, the unfiltered interactions, the GIFs and emojis, and even the viral messages. So here, for the summarized writing, sometimes our spellings are not correct because of social media, because we tend to summarize our writing and shorten our our sentences and our words. So this is an effect. So for me, I would like to encourage you to spell out your chats. Spell it out correctly. So that will also train you to write your words and spellings correctly. Next is abbreviations. Well, I just encountered a lot of abbreviated words last week. So this is another effect to communication style. The abbreviation, the LOL, and a lot more. Next is unfiltered interactions. So social media and internet actions offer a veil between the person sending and the person receiving the message. So these interactions are no longer face-to-face, and these can lead to some unfiltered conversations, as people feel they can say anything with no repercussions. And you have to be careful because, screenshot is just there, and that can be sent anywhere to someone else, and that could have been a private conversation. So we have to be careful with social media and what we say, because that can be counted as evidence. Next is the GIF and emojis, and of course the viral messages, because sharing can be easy. That quick and easy share button on so many social media platforms has led to the phenomenon of going viral. So messages, videos, and other content can be easily shared between platforms with millions of people in a matter of days. If you noticed in TikTok, even our own the one that got viral, video hiko, o mapriso ka. Even Africans are making videos out of it. Okay, so that's the effect of social media. Next is very quickly in business. Because of social media, it has built a community. Brands are speaking directly to audiences. Social media is changing traditional media. Brands can have a more personal connection with the media. That's why online selling is, very, very popular right now. And there's an opportunity to coordinate with PR efforts. So these are effects of social media in communication. Now, what I want you to do is to write a 100-word critical essay on the effects of social media on how people communicate. For the rubrics, please refer to the Appendix D of your book, and this is how it would look like in your book. And I want you to send your output to my email. So that's it for today. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you. Stay safe and God bless. Bye.